Megan Kelly, and today I'll be talking to the one man who manages to cover the headlines of every media forum possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trump.
Thank you, thank you.
Mr. Trump, many people would call you the most controversial man in America. How do you feel about that?
Well, I just say what everyone's thinking, but they're just too scared to say it.
I'm sure a lot of people would argue with that statement, including myself.
Excuse me, you're wrong. I'm genius, and everything I say is genius.
Okay, well, we actually have some news for you from the former Mexican president, Jorge Ramos. And he says that he's not going to pay for that fucking wall. How will you deal with this? He says that you can pay for it since you have the money.
Well, first of all, Megan, that wall just got 10 feet higher from this remark, Mr. May I add, former President Ramos, and I will do absolutely nothing. It's a requirement to build a wall. Sure, we can have a big door to let people in, but legally.
Well, wouldn't that be too complicated of a process for the immigrants?
Well, maybe, Megan. You see, the thing is, when Mexico sends its people, they're sending the worst of the worst. All they bring are problems, drugs, crime, etc., etc. They're all rapists. Well, maybe a few are good people, but I personally talked to the border guards, and this is exactly what they're telling me.
Did your wife immigrate to the United States?
Well, that's another story. You see, I love women. My wife is so beautiful, nice face, nice skin, kind of like my daughter Ivanka.
Let's talk about your views on foreign policy.
Well, foreign policy is a good thing, but let's talk about my tremendous success in the economy today, where I've made about $7 billion. I'm richer than any other U.S. American. Yeah.
So back to my question. How will you execute foreign policy?
Alright, well, you see, Megan, it will just fall into place. How do you think I became so successful? I know how to do a business, and therefore I know how to run the country.
Okay, let's move on. Many people on social media are tweeting out wanting you to discuss your views on the recent environmental issues.
Well, I think trees are actually quite annoying. I tripped on a tree branch once. Blood was everywhere. If you elect me for president, I will personally cut down all the trees and make the forest into glass.
Great. Let's talk about...
Muslims.
Okay. You stated that you wanted a complete ban on Muslim immigration. How do you plan on executing that?
Well, I actually plan on producing mass yellow stars to identify the Muslims. Or should I say terrorist? But in terms of the ones coming into the country, we can just say Nasser.
Good plan. Mr. Trump, you have become known as the woman hater.
Excuse me. Have you seen my wife? I love women. I just prefer they keep their distance.
All right, that's it for today. Tune in on Fox 7/8 Central for a new interview with Bernie Sanders. Thank you.
That's the thing, bro. I don't care, bro. That's the thing, bro. Well, I just say what everyone's... Fuck.
I'm sure a lot of people would argue with that statement. Why are you doing that?
Because it's just funny. I think it's funny.
Just don't.
So-
Just
Alright,
walk
go.
away.
I'm sure a lot of people...
Dude,
I
stop.
won't do anything. Go.
I'm sure a lot of... Okay, I'm ready.
Go.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
go.
ready now?
Oh no, they were hella quiet, but I can put the amp.
Yeah, now you
I can
can,
put the
you
sound.
can amp it up nicely.
Nah.
Like
Bro,
you
bro,
should
that's the
see.
thing, bro.
You should see.
I can put the sound up if I want.
That's the thing, bro.
Like, you
You
think
should
I have
see-
limitations, bro? Like, I can go edit and do anything I want, bro.